To do app with Nextjs and Firebase. So this is gonna be a video tutorial about using Firebase in Nextjs. So I have decided to create an application, basically to do application for this tutorial. So why did I create this tutorial? I created this tutorial because I did not find any good resource for using Firebase with Nextjs. The main reason for me for creating this tutorial was because of lack of good resources. So this video tutorial is just gonna be an explanation of this text tutorial in Medium, which is written by me. So at the time, I will provide the link to this Medium article in the description. And along with the Medium article, I am also gonna provide you this full code in the articles in the description of this video. So let's start. So the text stack. Next.js, Chakra UI, and Firebase. So Next.js is the UI library, as you all know. It's built on top of React. And Chakra UI is a styling library. Why did I use Next.js? Once, I don't know why, I just created a simple project. I just decided to create a simple project using Next.js. And after that, I don't know, but I haven't switched back to React. I love Next.js very much. The main feature which I like about this is file-based routing. It is awesome. And Chakra UI. This Chakra UI is a good styling library. It provides you style component for using it in your app. And Firebase is my all-time favorite. This tool, this library, Firebase library, is awesome tool, and we're gonna see why. So let's start this tutorial. This is gonna be the final output of our next app, and I suggest you to read the article too for best learning experience, because I'm not gonna explain. I've explained here about this Firebase project, how to create Firebase project, how to enable authentication and all for this project. So I suggest you to read this article too, because I'm not gonna explain this Firebase part here. I will start from the coding section in this video. This video is just gonna be an explanation of this code, because I haven't provided the explanation of this code in this article. So our final output of the app is going to be like this. So you can log in with Google, and you can choose your account, and you can start adding to do. So it's loading. Wait a minute. So you can choose the account, log in with Google, and after you log in with Google, you would show your Gmail here. Ignore this random to-dos I added before. So yeah, and you can log out from here. So this is gonna be a video tutorial about this. So let's look at the code now. Let's start with this Firebase code at first. So this code is just imported from the Firebase, and I suggest you, please don't copy this Firebase config. This is unique for everybody, and you have to create, you will get this config from your own Firebase app. Don't copy this Firebase app, this Firebase config, because it won't work on your machine. So I just suggest you to read the article again, because I have taught you where you will find this. So after you have initialized the app, I have created a variable for auth and file store and exported it from here. These two variable will be used often. This auth is used for Google sign-in, which we will create in our app, and this db is for adding to-dos. So this is the Firebase main code. So where now we will look at the API. So API is where we create the to-do, where we interact with the Firestore database. So as I said you earlier, that db we imported from the Firebase, Firebase index.js. We have imported this from here, and we have imported a bunch of functions here: collection, add doc, update doc, delete doc. This all will be used. So add to do function looks something like this. We have passed four variables here: user ID, title, description, and status. And we will call add doc method, and this db is our own db, Firebase db. We will call this add doc method, and this add doc method will uh, insert data in the collection. And what is our collection name? To do. We will name the collection to do. To do collection means like a table in MySQL database. It is where your data is stored. So here are a bunch of functions. Here this is add to do, and this is updating to do status. We use update doc function for updating the status, for updating any data in our Firestore, and this is deleting to do function. So we use delete doc function to delete the data in our Firestore. So this all methods are also exported from this file. We will use this method in our components. We will call this method in our component to create, update, and delete the to do. So now let's look at our app.js. So this chakra provider, this is compulsory. You have to import, you have to wrap this component inside chakra provider if you want to use chakra UI in your app. So this is compulsory. You have to wrap your component inside chakra provider. You can import chakra provider from chakra UI/react. So after app.js, let's look at hooks. Use auth hook. So this hook we will call inside every component to know whether the user is logged in or not. So this hook has two states. One is user and another is logged in. And we have imported this auth module from our own Firebase from here, from this index.js, this auth module. And auth module in Firebase has a function called onAuth state change. That is, every time the state of the auth in your app changes, then this method can be called. This will be called inside the Firebase. This will be called inside our app. So every time the state of our auth, that means whenever the user logs in or logs out from your app, then this method will be called. So what this method is really doing is, it is setting the logged in user to true if the user have user id, to false if the user don't have user id, and it will also set the user to user. If user has logged out, then this will be set to null, as you can see here. uh, as you can see here but as you can see here, it will be either user or either it will be null. If the user has just logged out, then it will be set to null, and if user have just logged in, then it will be filled with the data, basic data like display name, email, and token, access tokens, and all. So use auth hook. So now let's look at our component now. At first we'll look at add to do component. So add to do component, our add to do component have four state: title, description, status, which is the status of our to do, and is loading, to know if the to do is being added or not. So we have imported some chakra component here, and we have imported use auth hook we just looked at before, and we have imported add to do function from API/to do. Here, this add to do function, it is required because we are going to add to do in this component. So we have created this method handle to do create. So let's look at the code now. So this is a basic input for title. As you can see, this input for title, and this is the text area, and this is option with pending and completed. And we have a button here. This button is disabled right now because of this. The button will be disabled if the title length is less than 1, or description length is less than 1, or it is loading. So if we just enter anything in this button, in this input box, then this will be on disabled automatically. As you can see, now it is not disabled. So as I remove this content from the text area or any input area, then this will be disabled. So this is the logic behind this disabling of this button. So this is add to do component. So at this function, at this button, I have created onClick method, and I have called the handle to do create. So handle to do create is this method. If the user is not logged in, then it will throw an error saying you must log in to create to do, and it will return from there. But if user is logged in, then it will call this add to do method, this Firebase method, we just imported from our API slash to do from here. It will create this add to do method, and it will create the to do, and it will set this title and description to empty again. So why is that? If I type something here, and after that if I add here, oh yes, see, as you can see here, you must be logged in to create to do. Okay, so let's log in and add this to do. So if I log in, and if I log in here and add this to do, then this, yeah, as you can see, this is empty now. And here the toast to do successfully created is thrown. So see, if this to do successfully created is because of this code, is this toast. So this is all about this add to do component. So now let's look at auth component. So auth component is just really this section, only this section. So you can see here, I have created auth using this. Just wait a minute. Okay, yeah. So I have imported a bunch of components from Chakra UI, and I have imported sign in with pop-up and Google Auth provider from Firebase/auth, and I have imported our auth module from our on Firebase, and I have also imported use auth hook to know whether the user is logged in or not. So yeah, okay, I will explain this later. This is for creating dark mode in Chakra UI. So we have this method handle auth. So what this does is it will create a new provider, which is Google Auth provider, and it will call this method sign in with pop-up, and it will provide these two variables, which is our on auth module and the provider. So after the sign in with pop-up is completed, then these credentials will be stored in token and user. So we have not stored this anywhere. So why is that? I'm gonna tell you that. So because our hook use auth, this auth module has on auth state change. Whenever this, whenever whenever the user has successfully logged in, and then we can run any code here. So basically what we have to do is we would have to call here set user or set token, something like that, but we don't do anything here because the Firebase provides the method on auth state change, which provides the logged in user detail automatically here. So as soon as the login is successful here, then the user data is passed automatically here, and we can save that user logged in user here, and we can save that here. So after this auth module is created, we have created to-do list. So what we do here is to-do list is basically this list of to-do which is displayed here. So what we do here is we have imported some methods and components from Chakra UI. So as you can see, badge, box, heading, simple grid, and text, and we have imported this use auth module, as you know. So this to-do list is real time. See here, whenever I add this to-do, then this list is automatically updated. So I am going to explain the code behind this too. So for the code behind that, we have imported three methods here: collection, on snapshot, query, and where. So we have also imported DB from our Firebase, and we have imported some icons from React icons, and we have imported two methods: to do toggle status and delete to do. So let's start by explaining this real-time to do feature. So I have a method here which is this refresh data. So if the user is not logged in, then this to do is going to be set to empty array, set to dos. This is the state of our to do list. This to do is going to be set to an empty array, but if the user is not null, then this code will not run, and the code will run from here. So we are this code right here, this query collection db to do. This is the query. That means this query will return all the to-dos of the logged in user. This user is fetched from here, use auth hook. We have fetched this user from use auth hook. This query will return all the to-dos created by this user. So we have used here where clause, where this will fetch the to-do of the user with this user id, the logged in user id. And this on snapshot method is called every time the data in the file store is changed. Every time the data with this parameter, the data in the to do file, to do document, in document where the user id is the logged in user id, every time the data changes, then this method is called. So every time this data changes, this method is called, and in this method snapshot of all the data is available. So we will, for each, we will loop through all the data, and we will push, we will create an empty array, push that data in this array, and we will set the to-dos to AR, to-dos to AR, which is the variable, which is an array which consists the to-do of all the users here. So this is the code. Basically, this much is the code for the real-time update of data in your web app. If you write this much code in your app, then yes, you will get real-time data. I haven't called this refresh data dynamically after adding to do. As you can see here, here is a to do. Here is no, I haven't called any refresh data manually here. It's happening on its own. It is because of this on snapshot method. It is real time. I don't have to refresh the page or have to call the fetch request again to get the data up to do. After, as soon as the data in the file store is added, then this list is updated automatically. So here are two methods, which is handle to do create, handle to do delete, and handle to do toggle. So as you can see here, I have looked through the to do here, and I have created two methods, two button here. This is toggle button, where you can toggle the status of to do, and this is delete button, where you can delete the to do. So I have linked this handle to do delete to this badge of badge. I use badge because it was easier and it was good looking here. If I use this button, then it will just be unattractive. So I just use badge to make the button smaller. And this delete method can delete the to do, and see the to do is gone now. This whole app is completely real time, guys. I haven't updated, I haven't called the refresh method anytime while adding this to do or deleting this to do. This is all because of this method right here on snapshot query. You can look the code at this GitHub. I will provide this link to this GitHub repository in the description of this video. You can look the code here in components, in to-do list. You can see the code here, and you can also do everything with this app. So the main thing I want to tell you again is, please read the article. Please read the article. If you will follow this, if you want to know what is going under the hood, I mean the Firebase part where I explain how to create the Firebase project and all, then I just give you an advice to read this article. And mainly, please don't copy this Firebase config and DM me saying that this project isn't working, how to work about this, how to work, it is throwing error in console. It is because I will disable the local, I will disable or I will delete this project after this video get published, and so this API key will not simply work on your machine. So for that, please read this article. So where is that article? Wait, I'm gonna show you the article. Where is the article here? So this article is here. So this article is here, but this is loading. Yeah, so read this article. I'm gonna provide the description at the bottom. Read this article, read how the Firebase is being set up here, and after that watch this video for explanation of this code. And guys, you are free to clone this code, clone this repository and use it in localhost. But before using in localhost, please change this Firebase config. It won't work in yours. So thank you guys for watching this. I hope you got a basic idea about this application. Have a good time. Thank you.